Hey guys, this is Justin from the Welcome to Your Doom Show. Thank you for checking out the channel. This is episode number 20, and Atul and I are talking about Solo, a Star Wars story. Very different film than most of the other Star Wars films that have been put out so far, which in our opinion is a good thing. I think that there's a few things that the Star Wars universe could do a little bit differently, and this one takes some chances. It hasn't been wildly received by fans. It looks like it might be the Star Wars film that loses money for Disney, but I definitely implore anybody that's watching this, go and check out that film. It's actually quite good. It's one of my favorite Star Wars films of all time. In any case, thank you very much again for checking out the channel. You can check out more of our content on our channel or at welcometoyourdoomshow.com. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to your doom.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
Oi,
Nice
Heineken!
roaring fire. Look at this. We got it going now.
Good. It's good.
Took a little bit of time.
Oi.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your harbingers of doom, Justin.
And Atul.
And cheers
Oh,
with
wait,
your
hold
empty
on.
class.
Hang on, no. I'm just checking the levels here. Oh, there we go. I'm taking the rest.
Yeah, that's fine. It's your beer anyway. You brought it.
Well, you also driving, so
That's true too.
set
Yeah.
a good example
Exactly.
for all the
kids.
kiddies at home listening to our show.
Don't drink and drive if you're a child and you're listening to this podcast.
Otherwise, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Hey, man. So we saw Solo together,
That's right.
and we usually don't do that. So it's a little disadvantageous as we have done in the past. We didn't really know what our feelings were going in, so we kind of know what's up.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, we kind of couldn't not talk about the movie a little bit after.
I know.
We're trying to talk about other shit.
Imagine
And
we
went-
didn't.
yeah.
We just walk out, we look at each other, we nod, and then we just part ways.
we leave. Yeah.
It would have been a strange way to watch a movie.
That's right. That's right. But before we get into that,
Absolutely.
we saw something. I saw something today that made my day. I gotta say,
What was her name? But ching.
Halloween 2018. The trailer for the movie came out.
Is it
it's-
Halloween 20?
It's just like
They just
I
called
just
it
so I
Halloween?
don't. Yeah, they just called it Halloween, but when this movie comes out, it will be referred to as Halloween 2018.
Oh,
'cause it's-
word. Yeah.
I checked the trailer out at work, and I gotta say, man, I really liked it.
Yes!
I really like that trailer.
Yes.
Uh,
I'm very happy to hear that.
They went really old school with that trailer. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's really well put together. That prison yard scene was really cool. Like the way they framed everything. It's so fresh.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it feels new.
Yeah.
And another interesting choice they made in the trailer, they have the gunshot sounds from when when Michael Myers was shot in the first film.
Yeah.
But it's the gunshot sounds from the first movie.
Yeah. I would be surprised if they took the sample from the movie.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's from the 70s. Like everything else in that trailer sounds brand new.
Yeah.
But that gunshot sounds like it's coming out of a can.
I know. But
yeah.
my first thought when I started watching it and they showed the prison yard, or not the psychiatric ward yard, whatever it is.
Sorry, yeah, not the prison yard.
It looks like a prison yard.
Yeah,
they're all
yeah.
shackled up.
Yeah, they're all
and-
shackled up, yeah.
But who brings the murder mask back to the murderer? It just is it's like asking him hey, Halloween's coming up, and here's your costume. Have fun.
It's been pretty boring around
know.
here since you've been in this psychiatric institute. It's the same like I told you before. It's the same reason that people want to go back to the dinosaur island.
Yeah.
Same reason that people read from a book when someone tells them not to read from a book. You know, same thing. I'm okay with that. I'm sure the notion would be, we want to know what happened. We want to know what makes him tick. Let's, what's the harm bringing
Yeah.
him the mask back or whatever. Although I don't think bringing him the mask back is going to be the impetus for this entire
I
film.
don't either. I'm just. I'm
it just seems
busting
like.
balls.
There's some great stuff, and there's some old school photography here. Like his movements.
Yep.
In that trailer are all very slow and sluggish, like the way he was in the first film. And a lot of the photography of him in the shadows, it's all very much a throwback, but with the fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
And also, I think they're probably going in an interesting direction. They're writing off all of the sequels. They even have a line in the trailer where someone's like, wasn't was it her mom? Is it her mom or grandma? I don't know. Like the young woman in the movie, Laurie Strode is her grandmother or mother?
I think grandmother. Because
okay.
I can't remember. Judy Greer?
Yeah,
I think
that's
she's,
the actress.
I think she's her daughter. And then the daughter of hers
I
is
see.
Judy, it's Judy Greer's
So
daughter.
they're talking about
grandparent,
him, and they're talking about it and saying, oh, wasn't it her brother? And she's like, no, that was some bullshit rumor.
That's interesting to me because, like, I mean, a huge fan of Halloween, obviously, and I really like the
I would say
mythos.
you're a bigger fan than you're
absolutely.
definitely like the Halloween aficionado.
Fucking
I haven't
love
even
it.
seen all of them.
It deep down, it offended me a little that they're writing off the brother thing.
I don't know. I kind of liked that when I was, I kind of liked it.
I liked it in the films. I liked the whole idea of him like trying to go after his family. I thought it was kind of an interesting, strange motivation for the character.
Yeah.
But I mean, not necessary. It irked me for like a split second, but in no way, shape, or form does it affect my opinion on this film. I think it looks great. Blumhouse is, if anybody's got to make this horror movie, Blumhouse is the ones to do it.
They're gonna nail it. I'm pretty excited.
Looks good.
It looks good. The mask looks good. That moment with the teeth, that was good.
Yeah, that was a little extreme.
It's extreme.
He got everything. He went all the way. He gave the guy.
I just had this flashback of him grabbing the guy on the bus and like putting him in a dental chair, like Michael Myers wearing a mask but also wearing a dental like cover on his mouth, like a dentist with a little light attached to his head. It's like, all right,
I could
get all these teeth out.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no, really liked it. I think it's gonna be. I think it looks good. I like straight up. Redneck Laurie Strode, like in the woods, shooting guns and shit. Yeah.
I like it. It's a very large turn in her character because by the end of the first Halloween film, she becomes a much more. She grows throughout the film into a more, from a meek kind of innocent character almost to more strong, being able to poke at Myers, cut him, etc., fighting back. And in this, it's like she's gone ultimate badass.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that. But like the fact that they even wrote away the second, which was John Carpenter's for the most part.
Well, it was it was directed by his DP, I think. But he was
heavily involved in the second film.
He was. Sorry, excuse me for a moment. I forgot to get the fire poker.
Okay, so we're actually we're doing this podcast campsite again in the Kachru studio backyard. So we've got a fire going, and
so you will hear some crackling,
some snapping, and some popping. Not particularly in that order, but he also forgot the fire poker to provide said snaps, crackles, and or pops. So now that we got that, we can continue with our discussion. So anyways, right. Halloween, super excited. The other trailer that I saw recently, I saw the first one. I don't know if you saw it, but
I saw the first trailer for this. Are you talking about Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man. Yeah, the Spideyverse.
Yeah.
That's all you need because my gripe. So I like the way the film looks. Yep. I think that the colors, the shaders that they're using on the animations.
It's an interesting animation style. I 100% agree with you.
The thing that drives me nuts about it, though, is the low frame rate.
Oh, yeah. No, it stops and goes into that low frame. It's
like that consistently.
Is it?
In the second trailer, you're going to see a lot of that.
No.
Oh, man. It like, even in slow scenes, like, there's a scene where he's in, like, a cop car. Like, his dad's a cop, so he's driving him to school. And it's just very clunky. Like, it looks like one of those Telltale video games or something.
Oh, no.
And, like, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and...
is that like a cost...
you know what?
Saving measure, maybe? Something along those lines?
In my guess, partly. I think it might be, but I think it's also... and this was my friend's idea, not mine. But he was attesting it to, like... It's kind of a callback to, like, older animations. Like, if you look at, like, films like Akira or... Ghost in the Shell. Animated. I know, but this is trying to do kind of a callback to those kind of styles. To have it be more like a comic book come to life, so it's a little bit jittery. The thing is, it's a neat take on it, but the way I look at it is it's kind of creativity for creativity's sake.
Right.
I don't know that it's going to enhance this, and frankly, I don't want to see the film. Like, I can't watch 2 hours or even 90 minutes of that janky kind of animation style. It's going to drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Like, even just the first trailer I saw it, I'm like, this
definitely
doesn't look
noticed
finished.
that. I definitely noticed that in the first trailer. I do remember
looks unfinished. Like, whenever we would do, like, rounds in, when I was working at DreamWorks, some of the ways that we would do that just to save on cost and rendering is render every other frame.
Well, that's what I meant. It could be a cost-saving measure. Yeah.
Exactly. It could be a cost-saving measure. It certainly could be. But we would do that because it's cheaper to do, but it looks janky, right? Like, it looks a little disconnected. And that's... My problem is the film, the look of it, it looks really, really cool. And the story looks cool, too.
Yeah, I think Miles... They're getting into that, like, the weirder side of... Spider-Man, for sure.
Right, and I like that. There's a lot of interesting stuff there, but, like, the thing that kind of drives me nuts is that it's going to be, I don't know, I feel like as cool as the film's going to be, the animation itself is going to completely distract you from how good or how bad the film is. And that's unfortunate to me, because I want this to be good.
Yeah, I agree.
But I just don't think that, like, I don't want to see it. Like, I want to see the film.
Yeah.
But I know I can't, I'm not going to pay money to go to a theater and watch something that I feel like is only 50% of the film. I want those other 50% of frames.
Yeah. You feel, I'm getting cheated.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I look at it. But, I mean, I'm not saying don't go and see this film. Absolutely not. If you think it looks good and you like what they're doing, please do. I mean, I do want this film to be successful, but I don't know if I want it to be successful well enough to go pay $15 to go and watch something that I know is going to drive me batshit crazy.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
So, but it's interesting that you saw that too.
Yeah, I definitely saw that.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed that.
Yeah. All right, well, that's enough of the pre-banter. Let's get into the meat and potatoes, my friend.
Yeah. Let's get into Solo. Do you want to go into general?
Well, do you have a line?
I do.
Would you like to do it now, or would you like to talk about it before?
I'd like to do it now.
Okay.
Justin, is that okay?
Please do.
Is that okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Solo, a Star Wars story. Well, Justin, we finally have it. The scene we have all been waiting for. Han and Chewie in the shower.
That was the scene.
I felt like Chewie was going to trade him for cigarettes at any point there.
I don't think that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to see, like, because it was just the 2 feet, and all of a sudden I thought I was going to hear Han say something, and then all of a sudden his feet just violently turned this way.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was... I feel like that was... they definitely got a little risque with that moment.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah, it was funny, yeah. So general feelings.
General feelings, I loved this film a lot more than I thought I would. And it's not without its faults, to be sure, but I would venture to say, given all of the other films, all the other Star Wars films that are out there, this is probably third or fourth favorite of them all.
I really liked it too.
What's
third or fourth favorite of every Star Wars movie?
Of all of them.
Okay.
I mean,
so what would that order be?
New Hope and Empire at the top.
Yep.
Maybe, probably in the opposite order. But I don't know, man. A New Hope.
Oh, New Hope is a complete movie.
Yeah.
So it's got that going for it.
It's got that going for it. But and Jedi, I've got a lot of nostalgic value.
Yeah.
As I've grown up, I can see the flaws in the film as as you're telling a story and stuff. But like as a kid, the nostalgic value of that is super high. Mm-hmm. So that might put it over the top of Solo, but Solo's right under that. The prequels can pretty much fuck off in that equation.
Yeah.
And what was the other one that just came out?
Rogue One.
Rogue One.
Yep.
Entertaining, but just a disappointment overall. I think I had higher expectations for that than it met. So yeah, I would say it's probably third or fourth in my list. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Yeah, dude. You? I 100% agree. Really, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. I know how much you hate that. I really liked it. It's a great old school adventure film, and a complete one.
Yeah.
And it's I feel like it reminds me of those adventure movies that I used to love watching as a kid. I mean, Star Wars, of course, being one of them. But even when I was growing up and DVD was becoming popular, I watched The Mummy.
Yeah.
A lot as a kid, and Indiana Jones and all those it's just it's a fun adventure film. It moves super brisk. It doesn't take time to breathe. It's just constantly barreling forward.
Okay.
I never thought it really paused to take a breath. But
we'll talk about that a little more. I disagree to that a little bit, but What was I gonna say? There was, so in the idea of that, like, this didn't feel like a Star Wars movie. Like,
No,
it did to some
which
degree.
is great. That's exactly what I was looking
wanted.
for.
That's what I wanted with Rogue One,
And I didn't get it. Oh my god, I feel exactly the
Yeah,
same way.
yeah.
I was really excited for Rogue One because I'm like, finally, we're gonna get something different.
Yeah.
But what we ended up getting was kind of, it felt similar, like playing it safe
Playing it
in
safe.
terms of like characters and a visual style. It was all sort of. But this, man, this was different. This was fresh.
Yeah.
Just the way it's shot. It's shot so it's so uncharacteristic for a Star Wars film. I was very happy to see that. And it was the action scenes I thought were some of like I was super into the action scenes. They're really well shot, pristine. I don't know how much of this is actually because as folks listening to this probably know that they switched directors almost at the end of principal photography, right? Wasn't it like really late
I think
in the process?
it was like mid to 3/4 of the way through.
They were if they'd shot a huge portion of the film.
Yes, yeah.
So Phil Lord and
Tim Miller.
I
think Tim Miller.
Maybe that's his
Lord
name.
Miller.
Lord Miller, yeah. And Ron Howard stepped in, and I always figured Ron Howard's kind of this journeyman director where like I can't tell it's a Ron Howard movie ever. Like after a certain period, like I feel like after Apollo 13, he started doing like films that I don't know, either I didn't connect with or when I saw them they were just kind of bland. This, I don't know what he really pulled out all the action stops.
Yeah.
Like really nailed it. I was like super invested in these actions. He's really wonderfully done. It's very grimy, it's like muddy, and just different. And I was so happy for that, right down to the credits. I love the fact they changed the credits, and I think they probably did the same with Rogue One as well. I can't remember. I can't remember if they had the same credits in Rogue One.
You mean the opening
credits?
I
yeah.
can't remember. I don't think they had opening credits for Rogue One. It's been a while since I've seen it. I saw it once while it was on Netflix. I didn't.
Oh, you never went to the theater?
Didn't care to.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
actually, I take that back. I did. Problem was, I got 9 or 10 beers deep before I went in there.
Well,
plus
that was
a beer
just-
in the theater, and I passed out after 10 minutes. Woke up, and Darth Vader was fucking shit up, and I just got really confused. And then I went back to bed, and then I woke up 5 minutes later.
That's seriously your own damn fault.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. So I went into this basically with the hopes that this was actually going to be like a Western in space. Like I kind of wanted like Firefly or Serenity.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. Instead, that's not a knock. That's not a knock. Instead, what I felt like I got was actually more like The Sting. You know, in space.
Yeah.
A lot of the characters were kind of very devious and tricky, and there's heists and like the train heist, and it was just an interesting kind of take on what they could do in space, and I thought they nailed it.
Yeah. I'm just like, so here's the thing. I actually first thing I would say is that I kind of went into this movie. I saw trailers for this movie, and it just all it really did for me was just kind of make me shrug. I was like,
Yeah.
it's there. I'll probably see it. So I came into this movie with next to no expectations. I kind
Right.
of just walked in and I was like, oh, it's a Star Wars movie, so I'm gonna check it out. And it just ended up being I ended up walking out just like with a smile on my face. I thought it was really it was a really fun movie. Now there are problems with it, obviously, and we'll get into more of those. Like I think that some of it's a little fan fiction-y.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like fan service fiction-y, like I think there's not a whole lot that you could do on a backstory for Han Solo that isn't going to feel like some fan wrote it.
Yeah,
Like, I don't think-
shoehorning in things.
Yeah,
and, I know
I don't
what you
think
mean.
there's a lot that you're going to be able to do, so I kind of like gave it a pass on that.
Early on in the film, it feels like they're going to do that a lot more, and then after...
They do their own thing.
Yeah, after about halfway through the second act, they stopped. It felt like I didn't even notice they were doing it. I mean, they did it a little bit, but it was a lot more subtle.
Yeah.
Whereas in the first act, they were like, Solo.
Yeah,
Like, I was like,
yeah,
fuck
like,
off.
come on,
Get out of here.
I guess the other thing would be, my other gripe would kind of be like character motivations. Some of them are a little muddy, but none of this really got in the way of a very simple story, not complicated, well executed with some great action, really great action, really thoughtful action, and amazing practical effects. I think this is a showcase This movie's a showcase for how to do great practical effects in a film. I loved it. It was, I haven't seen that in any of the new Star Wars films. They use a lot of CG. This movie, and we'll get into some of the details, really breaks the bank on practical effects, animatronics, and puppeteering. And
Amen.
It gives it that reality, that lived-in feel that Star Wars is really famous for.
Agreed.
So,
So,
yeah.
So before we go into spoilers, if
Yep.
you're still watching it, we're going to go into spoilers. And if you haven't seen the film, you should stop watching now. Or, sorry, listening now or watching if you're watching us on YouTube. But if you also are listening to this and you haven't seen it, go see this film because it's
go
not
see it.
doing so well.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
unfortunate.
I don't
but
think
this is a good film. I mean...
I especially consider, okay, I think it's a good film on its own merit.
Yeah.
Just considering the production nightmare that this thing was, I'm
Oh,
surprised that something competent came out of this process.
Yeah.
I'm just really surprised.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I was, people should go see this movie. Like, don't listen to your Rotten Tomatoes overlords. Like, get in there and watch the movie. Come to your own conclusion. I actually think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You're not expecting the second coming. As long as that's the case, then like I think you're gonna have a good time at the theater.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
So, all right. Spoilers. Who wants to start? You start. I started last time.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead with pretty probably what do you call it? Controversial statement. This movie made me laugh more than Deadpool 2. And the comedy really worked for me in this movie. I really liked it. It was super genuine, sincerely funny moments that really worked for me.
You have a humorless soul.
No, that's not even remotely true, man. I just think that this movie was not full of itself. It was just
Fair enough.
It was that old school sort of genuine comedy that made me laugh.
So basically, you're saying you're old as fuck.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
You old fart.
Yeah. Like
I
I was
like my movies to be very comical with the setups and the punchlines. What's with all these quips? The man in the red suit just keeps on talking with the baby legs.
I thought the baby legs were funny though. I thought the baby legs were funny.
All right, continue.
Yeah, like I was saying, the Ron Howard. The movie starts like right when the movie starts, you can tell it's a different kind of film. I think that you can tell, like, just the way the sets look, how grimy everybody is, and it starts off with, like, I think one of the best moments where I was just like, I think I'm in love with this movie, because it starts with Han on, I can't remember the name of the planet, Corellia? Corellia. And they establish this sort of cartel, not cartels, what do they call them? Syndicates.
Syndicates.
These, like, crime syndicates. What?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I didn't say anything yet, but I was looking at you like, the fuck's the difference between a syndicate and a...
And a cartel? I don't know. I just
Cartel.
wanted to use the right word.
What?
Well, I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with being
Do you
accurate.
know what a synonym is?
Especially when I'm
don't know
with
if I
someone
do.
who just makes shit up all the time. Anyway,
That's fair.
So so they have established that there are these crime syndicates, and he gets taken to one of the, I guess, like, crime syndicate's sub bosses or whatever.
The dildo with arms.
Yeah. So you're gonna call it that, whatever. When that shit happened, what actually happens is that that was a bat.
Oh, nice.
That's a
Oh, yeah.
bat. Yeah,
They're
it doesn't
crazy.
know where it's going.
See, that's the beauty of filming and recording outdoors is you get to see bats.
yeah, that's right. So sorry, where was I? That bat.
You were
threw
talking
me
about
off.
the dildo
Oh,
in the
yeah,
water.
Yeah, that's right. So it got taken to this pool, and the syndicate, boss person comes out, and it's a giant centipede, maybe.
Yeah.
like a giant centipede, and it's fully animatronic.
Was it?
Yeah,
It
I
looked
was
like
100.
it.
It was 100% fully animatronic, really well done. I was so surprised
Mm-hmm.
that they did that, and obviously it has CG augmentations. Of course,
Sure.
they're gonna do that, and they marry it very well in this movie. The droid L3 is done really well, but this thing set the tone for the movie. I'm like, oh man, I haven't seen practical effects on this scale in a very long time. And I think probably the last, and this movie has call-outs. and it just reminded me of Willow. And Ron Howard directed Willow as well.
With what?
Warwick
Davis. Yeah.
And Warwick Davis is in this movie.
That's what I was gonna say.
But the other thing that's in this movie is that this giant practical sort of centipede thing comes out of the water, and it's so well done.
Can you please call it for what it is? A dildo with little legs?
It's not a dildo with legs. Well, okay. It's not a dildo with legs.
It's
a centipede. It's a giant water centipede.
Centipedes are fairly flat-bodied. This
Girthy?
was girthy and cylindrical.
Yeah. And he has a great moment there where he threatens her with a
round. I'm sorry.
where he threatens her with a thermal detonator, and it's a rock. It's like just a rock. So I got a thermal detonator. It's like that's a rock. And it's like, and he makes a sound when he moves his thumb. She's like, you just made that sound with your mouth. And it's like that kind of comedy really, really played well for me. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, that really set the tone for me, and I knew I was gonna like this movie.
Now that
Did you like that scene?
I fucking hated the entire first act.
Oh.
So, the reason I'm saying that, well, here's the thing, right? Is that scene, and when he was running away in the car, and when he was in the tunnels, and when he was talking to Kira,
Yeah.
I couldn't see what the fuck was going on. It was super dark
and
everywhere, and once he got into the dildo cavern, you couldn't actually, like... there's like a blue light filter. Sorry, he's like running behind me, so I'm like trying to look at him. But
Sorry, my bad.
You dick. You dildo with arms. That's my new insult for everybody. You dildo with arms. Yeah, so like once he's in the dildo cavern, he's like there's like a blue filter on there, and everything's like this crazy dark black and blue hue, and it doesn't like pop me out of it until he throws the ball through the cavern, which apparently she's a vampire dildo too.
Yeah, but you know what? That's great. I like that they adding layers to these characters without spelling it out for you.
But I can't see the layers until somebody puts some light in the scene. That was my biggest problem. That's the thing, because honestly, I was actually, my eyes, I have 20/20 vision. I can see shit no one else can see.
That is
not true.
But yeah,
what I'm saying is that I had to actually squint to focus and see what the hell I was looking at. It was hard because it was so damn dark. I was like, who are these people? So that I was extremely worried that this whole film was going to look like that, and the worry continued where he goes into the war and things are still very dark.
So here's
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying that it's dark and it's hard to see what the hell's going on when you don't understand the environments or the characters yet, and you're trying to learn who these people are and you can't see them.
Right. I'm just hearing a lot of whining.
It's not whining. I think that this is something that I don't know. I would wager more people than just I had that problem with this film.
That it was so the cinematography was a little different. It was dark. I'll give you that. But I would also say that this fire is not cooperating.
Put the poker down in podcast, my friend.
So
it'll light. See, that guy's having a ball. It'll be fine. All right, go.
So I would say that I can understand that you think that it was dark, but I didn't have that problem. I'm the kind of person that complains about that kind of stuff. That I can't see it. I don't think a movie can't be dark. I just think that it can't be so dark that you don't know what's going on. And I knew exactly what was going on the whole time.
I knew what was going on, but I'm still squinting to see. Like, I wanted to see. So to your point about the giant dildo with arms,
I never said that.
But no, what I'm saying is that what your point was that the animatronics and the character design looked cool.
Yeah.
Right? It was an interesting thing. I wanted to see all the details that I could, and I fucking couldn't because I wanted to see what the creature looked like. I have a pretty good idea of what the features of the face look like, but the finer points of the character design, I honestly couldn't tell the difference between her and a talking dildo with little tiny arms. And honestly, I don't know if those were arms. They could have been anything. She could have had a bunch of Mr. T chains on. Fuck.
I saw everything. I don't know. I normally I would agree with you. I'm that kind of person that would complain about that, but I didn't get that feeling at all.
Well, then your vision might be a little bit better than mine.
It's actually not. I'm pretty sure I have to go the optometrist.
You absolutely do. You can't see shit.
My night driving is definitely suffering. That's for sure.
I'm sorry to hear that. You can't see behind the wheel at night, and I just fall asleep.
Between the two of us, we're not getting anywhere at night.
I'm like narcoleptic behind the fucking wheel at night. It's bad. But honestly, because you set me up to talk about that scene, I want to finish my point here with that drove me crazy. I didn't like the way it was shot. It was hard to see, but that is pretty much the only major critique that I have of this film that I didn't like, because after that, once he goes from essentially the first act was, I think, was the first act kind of concludes where he goes to the flight academy at the Empire.
Yep.
And then,
which was an interesting turn of events.
I thought it was a great turn of events.
Yeah, where he actually signs up with the Empire.
And I forgot to mention, the car chase was fucking dope.
Yes!
It was really, really good.
Oh, it was very good.
As soon as he broke that thing, actually, I take it back. So the movie picked up right as soon as he threw the quote unquote thermal detonator.
Yeah.
Then it became amazing. That car chase was great. I really enjoyed that. Then as soon as it went to the war, I got nervous again because everything got super dark. And then it didn't. And then all of a sudden he meets Chewbacca and it's super dark again. I'm like, God damn it. But
I liked the dirtiness of this movie.
Yes.
I definitely liked that. That was a...
Oh, of the movie itself or the Chewbacca scene? I was going to say the Chewbacca scene, I didn't mind it being dark for what it was.
It was so filthy.
It was filthy and dark when he was in the more cavernous parts of that, I don't know, dungeon. But then as soon as they got over the grates, it kind of lit up and it was no longer a problem.
Yeah.
So then my worries... And at that point, that was really, I think, in my eyes, I think it was the last instance where I was like, this is really dark, I can't tell what's going on.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything worked out.
Yeah, I like the war scene. I liked that war scene. I mean, like, a lot of people try to describe Rogue One as being a war movie. I'm like, no, actually, it did not. If Rogue One felt like a Star Wars movie trying to be a war movie, while still playing within the Star Wars rules of cinematography, framing, action beats, all of that. This one broke a lot of those rules by filming action in a different way. And I was very happy with that. Very happy with that. What else I got here? The practical effects. I mean, like we talked about the boss, but there's also, like, scenes where one of my favorite scenes in this movie is the card game.
Yes.
Between him and Lando. And Lando's whole introduction was so well done, but it's another call out to practical effects being done, because every alien in that bar or whatever it was like handcrafted, and there were a lot of gags with these aliens that made me laugh.
The eye gag.
Well, I can't even remember. I saw so many. The eye one was...
Keep your eyes on your...
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. That was so funny.
That got me good. I thought that was hilarious.
Keep your eyes on your cars. Things got 8 eyes or whatever. He's like, all of them. Oh, it was so funny. And it reminded me of the cantina scene in a very positive way. Whereas I feel like the casino scene in The Last Jedi, while I did like The Last Jedi, the casino scene was way less inspired. I think... Sorry. Let me take that back. I like the idea of showing the opulence in the Star Wars universe. Mm-hmm. The rich folks, what they do.
Yeah.
But the cantina scene is still like the penultimate bar scene.
Yeah.
And this one gives it a run for its money. It reminds me of the Troll Market scene from Hellboy 2.
Yeah.
Like, really just meticulously crafted. All of those gags, really well done. All around the table. The lighting's perfect. The dialogue's great. The gags with the aliens are all well done. I don't know. I loved it.
You know why?
So good.
You know why you like that better than, like, the casino scene in that trashy movie?
You did not like that. Did you not? I can't remember. Did you not like that movie?
I did not overall. I thought it was passable at times. There was some cool stuff in it, but why don't you go and listen to episode?
Yeah, that's right.
Fucking whatever our last.
I can't, because I remember it being a really long episode.
It was a long episode because the movie was endless. But the casino stuff in particular, I fucking hated with all of my heart.
Yeah.
I agree. I like the idea of seeing the opulent side of the society. That was cool. The warmongering and whatnot.
Yep.
Totally cool.
Yep.
But the casino scenes and all that crappy, campy shit, I was just like, I don't need this. But I think I know why you like it, is because you are a dive bar man. That's why the cantina is a place you'd want to drink. You'd like to be shoulder to shoulder with fucking Greedo and Ass Mouth, whatever that guy's name is. He doesn't like you. Who's the guy with the ass for a mouth?
I don't like you.
So, and then in this, it's the same thing. It's like some seedy dive bar with a bunch of dudes playing fucking cards with 8 eyes and capes. And
How do you know they're all dudes?
I
For that
don't.
ma- for
I
ma-
don't.
for
That
that
was
matter.
sexist. Well, no,
How
actually,
do you
yeah,
know
no.
Chewbacca is a dude?
I don't know. I honestly,
I
I
don't
don't have an
actually
answer
know.
for that.
I don't think we actually know
think
that
we do.
Chewbacca is, in fact, male.
I think we do from the the Christmas episode.
Oh,
Or
because of
whatever it
his
is, 'cause
family.
he has a wife.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, the less said about that, the better.
Yeah, he's definitely a male.
So
I'm pretty sure they refer to him as he. Anyway, sorry. Let's get off.
yeah,
that
that's true.
tangent.
Yes, I do like dive bars, and I like dive bar scenes, and this one takes the cake. I loved it, partly because, and another note here, I mean, Lando as a character in that movie really did it for me. Donald Glover nailed it. He fluctuates in his timbre of his voice between Donald Glover and fucking nailing 100% Billy D. Williams from Empire and Jedi.
Yep.
Sometimes he's talking and I'm like, that's literally Billy D. Williams. Like, he must have done a voiceover. Other times, it's not so spot on. But, man, there are moments where I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. He nails it. He just nails it.
And I liked that duality between him. And I don't know if it was intentional or not. I don't know if Donald Glover's just that good of an actor, or maybe he's not that good of an actor,
Right.
and this is why it's happening. But it's interesting because I always seen Lando in my eyes as this character that's always putting on this false bravado. He's always smooth. He's always, but like down deep, that's not necessarily who he is. He's not always very smooth.
Yeah.
Like that's not always him. And I feel like with Donald Glover,
Do you think he was turning that voice on and on? I can't even remember now. It's a good point.
right?
I feel like
You
when
didn't
he's
see
being
Billy D.
smooth-
Williams doing that. I don't know why I think this about Billy D. Williams' characterization of Lando. But I just never bought it. Like, I didn't buy all of his swag. Like, he had it for sure, no question.
Yeah.
But like, I felt like it was a bravado. I didn't feel like
And
it was
they cash
him.
in on that.
And they cash in on that
because
here.
he's like doing his own recordings of his own exploits. He's such a narcissist.
He's very narcissistic.
He's full of shit.
Absolutely. But then, like, when he breaks that, when he's starting to not maybe be so sure of himself,
Yeah.
you starting to hear Donald Glover come out and not so much Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, that's
which is
smooth.
interesting.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you this: whose performance do you think was better?
So on the list of things that I didn't like in this movie,
Oh no.
it wasn't awful.
Yeah.
But I think the lead playing Solo, I think that if he's trying to do an impression,
really?
I felt like he was trying, at moments he was trying to do an impression, where I feel like if they let him do his own thing, he would have done a much better job. I think sometimes he nails it, right? He nails that, like, character, like, and the delivery, but other times, since he's trying so hard to be an actor who plays another character, I think it just kind of ruins it. It stifles any creativity.
I disagree. I
liked
completely
him?
disagree. I thought he was great. At no point, there were certain times where the timbre of his voice or the way he delivers lines seems very, what the fuck? Harrison Ford-esque.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, he definitely, like, he had those.
Yeah.
Yeah, those moments.
But at no point did it didn't feel like to me he was doing an impression of Harrison Ford. It felt like he was doing an impression, not an impression. He was acting like a young Han Solo. There is some uncertainty
I
to
see.
him.
Sure,
There is.
sure.
He hasn't developed quite that chip on his shoulder yet.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not, that sure of himself, or he doesn't know how to get in and out of these situations that he would in the later films.
Right.
Now, I can't remember if I voiced it or not, or if I asked the question directly or not. I was going to say who had the better performance. I can't remember the actor's name. Shoot, I had it on my phone. My phone's recording. But
Sorry, I thought you were going to ask about Han.
I was going to say Han or
Chewie. All right. Han or who?
Jeez, I was just going to say Billy D. Williams. Donald Glover.
So, sorry, you were going to ask about.
I was going to ask which
Solo,
one gave the
yeah.
better performance, and I was going to say Han.
Really?
Because
Oh, okay.
I felt the same way you did about Donald Glover. aside from, and that was going to be my point, is that I thought the cracks where he was not doing the Billy D. Williams impression was actually more genuine. You know, like it
That's
was a little bit more.
I didn't
like,
notice that. I'd have to watch this movie again, and this is a movie I would watch again.
I would absolutely watch. This
I would
movie
definitely
again.
watch
Yeah.
this movie again. That's interesting that you mentioned that he switched his voice and it might be on purpose, which is something I didn't think of during the movie. He also has this like odd, like, I don't know, transsexual sort of trait going on there, where he's just gonna like, which I kind of liked. I liked the idea that he's kind of like this space swinger, you know, kind of like William Shatner, like Captain Kirk.
Hold on, what gave you the idea that he was transsexual?
It's the whole relationship with the android was like, sort of like oddly, like it's like he'll try anything once. Like that kind of thing. That's the kind of vibe that I got from that. I was like, I like that. I like that.
I don't know. I was looking for it because of all the not controversy, but like
Controversy. What?
well, the I can't remember how it came out, but somebody.
Sorry, transsexual is not the right word for it.
No, a
It's
pansexual.
a pansexual.
That's,
Sorry,
and that's the thing is there
yeah.
was a whole thing about him being a pansexual character. Somebody that worked on the film, it might have been the directors. I don't know. But
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
I
they had
totally
mentioned that
missed
he was a pansexual character.
No
They're
way.
like, yeah, he's pansexual. I was looking for it in this, and I'm like, I didn't buy that he was trying to fucking nail the robot.
But you're not supposed to. I don't think it's supposed to be that overt. I think it's just supposed to be showing you that he's got an open mind.
I don't think he's that open-minded. No, what I mean is that I didn't get like he's definitely interested in women based on what had happened in there. At no point did I think he was interested in men, because I mean he was just.
I'd have to
sly.
watch it again. I got that feeling, but
Yeah.
and it's weird that you mentioned that there was talk about this, because
There was.
I had no idea, but even like not knowing, I
Not
still got that
knowing.
vibe.
Okay,
You know,
maybe.
like, I still got that
I
vibe.
didn't like I said, I was. You know what? Maybe it's because I was looking for it, and I was looking for something a little bit more direct that it
Overt?
never
Yeah,
came.
sure.
But yeah, no. I mean, you look at the Lando character in Empire. He was driving strong to the hole for Leia.
That's true.
That's just a basketball term, and not how awful it sounded.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But he never really made any moves on Han or anybody else, for that matter, in the film, aside from Leia. And in this
true.
one, it seemed like he was never. As soon as Kira showed up, he was pretty interested in her. But like, there was no subtle kind of homoerotic kind of feelings or suggestions.
Yeah,
toward
I guess
Han.
it was just the android.
It was just the android, and I never bought that. Like, I get what she was saying, the android, but she's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
So-
but like also I feel like when he got a drink, he's like, "Thank you, sweetheart," but it's like to this alien. It was a very like suave. It's like a very like he's when he gets the drink at the bar.
I missed that.
Sorry,
I
not
missed
the
that.
bar. Sorry, at the card game.
Sure.
So like someone's holding a thing and it comes like a little flying thing comes over and drops some liquid into his glass.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very suave. Like he's open.
He's
to
suave
it.
as shit.
Yeah, but he's
absolutely.
like I felt like all of that added up in the end to someone who looks to be open to new experiences sexually. So I thought that was a really interesting take on the character.
I will say this: if all of a sudden he did hit on Han or any of the other male
Yeah,
characters
yeah.
in the universe, I wouldn't be like surprised, because I
Correct,
guess
yeah, I wouldn't be
he is that
surprised.
suave. He seems open-minded, but he didn't do anything that overtly suggested he would be interested in multiple genders or potentially robots.
Yeah, robots. That's right.
So
Yeah. So I mean, the other thing. I mean, like I'm just kind of leading.
no,
the
keep
way
going,
here.
because
Yeah.
I'm interjecting my points in with yours as well.
Yeah. Chewy. Let's talk about Chewy.
You got your wish.
I'm
as
so
soon
happy.
As he fucked up, as soon as he started fighting things, I was
Yeah.
like, you are
Yeah, dude. I was
happy
so
to that.
happy.
Pig and poop.
I was very happy. I really liked his introduction too. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, like this whole fan fiction-y sort of take. There are a couple things in here, like the whole like how Han gets his name. And he's like, "Who are your people?" And he says, "I don't have any people." And the guy's like, Han Solo, and he like types it in. I'm like, that's a little much for me.
It was forced. It was extremely forced.
I also thought this meeting between Chewie and Han was, a little fan fiction-y in my opinion, but I actually liked it. I liked the introduction. I love the way they treat Chewie as a real character now. He's not just a sidekick. He's got some great moments, a lot of funny, like comedic moments, but also when he sees the other Wookiees. And here's the other thing. I like the movie. It sort of respects the fact that the prequels do exist and that the prequels happened. I guess I'm not a prequel apologist. I wouldn't call myself that. I don't think they're very good movies, but they are movies I'll revisit from time to time because I think there's good stuff in them.
That's fair.
And
they're not completely throwaway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ideas, concepts, characters. I mean, there are some pretty good characters in there. It's just the problem that I think plagues it is that the person telling the story or the films themselves just wasn't good.
Yeah, the reason I'm mentioning this
right,
is
because
because when they ask Chewie like what his deal is, what is he fighting for, kind of, and he mentions enslavement by the Empire of Wookiees on Kashyyyk, or Kashyyyk, I don't know how they pronounce it. But that's a direct thing from the prequels, where on Kashyyyk they attack and the Wookiees are imprisoned and taken away. So it's a direct, and they show other Wookiees in this, and they're not CG Wookiees. They are real animatronic Wookiees. And he has this great moment where he comes in and just fucks some guards up. And like I said, the action in this movie, and we'll talk about that in a bit, I guess, but the action in this movie is so well shot. You know what? It's about the editing. Like, they stay on. When someone gets punched, it's not like they edit and then the guy goes flying through a door. It's this really, like, sense of geography where he gets punched and you see him in a single shot fly away. Or when there was one moment where Chewie lifted up a dude and basically body slammed him head first into the floor.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it made me wince because I was expecting like a neck snapping noise, but they went for like a dull thud. But I'm like,
very
man.
loud, dull thud.
But I mean, like, that guy's dead.
Oh,
he's
sure
dead. So yeah, treating Chewie like a real character, not like a punchline. Although he does have some great comedic moments, I was very happy with that. The age joke I thought was really, really funny. I did see it in a trailer, but it still played really well in the theater. That was funny.
The fuck yeah moment of the film was, I think Kira was in the pilot seat. She didn't know what she was doing. And then it came off of that line, and then they're just like, all right, you take this seat. She gets up. She goes to the back to help Lando, I think, with the plugging the woman robot into the thing. And as soon as she sits down, that was my fuck yeah moment of the film. I was just like, yes.
They called out. Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to mention here. Leads right into it. The score for this movie I thought was great.
Agreed.
So good, and I'm so happy to say that because honestly, the scores for the other movies have just kind of been there in the background, haven't really taken anything back from them. I'll tell you this, the prequel scores are amazing. I think they're wonderful, wonderful scores.
That's fair. Absolutely.
This score was so good. There's a theme in the movie, and I noticed it right away when the Marauders, like the competing team trying to steal stuff, in competition with Han's crew.
Yeah.
When they show up, and the eventual realization of what they are, the theme for them tells you. Because when they come in, they have this operatic, like a really operatic singing voices coming in when they come in. And I noticed it right away at the train sequence when they're still trying to make this person seem like a villain. But if you notice, the score on the opera is done by, it sounds like children. So I was immediately like, what? That's an odd... It was a really odd choice, and then at the end it all falls into place because she's like a teenager.
Yeah.
And it's like this realization that these marauders are actually the seeds of the rebellion, and yeah, so I loved the score. I listened to some of it at work today. I really liked it. And it's been a long time since I could say that about a Star Wars score. So Yeah, I mean, you nodded when like did you take away anything from the score? Or did it just like it was
No,
just
no,
there and
I
gone, or?
I don't really have. We're agreeing on this one. I just didn't have anything about the score else to say. It was great. It like to compare it to something more recent, like the score for Infinity War, just kind of was there.
Just
the
kinda there.
the score for Justice League, like just
I like
it
that
was
a
more
little bit.
distracting.
I liked that one a little bit more than the score for like Infinity War or anything.
Right,
but
it didn't
but it
meld
wasn't,
well with the film. This was right in there. Like it just seemed to go with it. Like it
and
was,
enhanced
enhanced the
like it's almost
experience. It wasn't
enhanced the
distracting.
experience. It wasn't distracting.
Yeah.
It enhanced the experience. It's wonderful, and that train robbing sequence I think is great. And the music is like a big piece of that. I think. Yeah. What else?
The in terms of shoehorning things in though, like I started worrying right off the first bat. Like the solo line made me worry, but before that, the focus on those lucky dice.
Yeah, that
I
seemed
was like,
odd.
what?
Didn't really
And-
have a
and
payoff.
Here's the thing: is I gotta go back to New Hope and Empire to see if those dice are in the Falcon. I don't remember them ever being there.
Maybe. I didn't even
Ever.
think of that. I thought they were just. I thought that was totally random.
I honestly don't even remember them being in Force Awakens. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like the only introduction to them was just some shoehorn thing they did in The Last Jedi, and now they're like, let's talk about this dice, and let's focus on it for like 5 shots in the opening 10 shots of the film.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot. And then all of a sudden the Solo thing, and then he gets his blaster, and I'm just like, good fucking God, is this what the movie's gonna be?
Yeah,
And
just
luckily,
a bunch of call-outs.
a lot of call-outs, but luckily when he meets Chewie, that one clicked so well. Like, I knew
That
it was
one-
going to be Chewie. We're going to
Yeah.
throw him in with the monster. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's Chewie.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to shoehorn in another fucking reference.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like that when that got in there. And then that to me is when the movie really started going. Like,
That's true.
that
Yeah,
started
no,
clicking.
I think I agree with you. There's
The
Chewie
Kessel
moments.
Run, like, I was watching something today. Another group was reviewing the film, and they were kind of complaining about how the Kessel Run is just another thing shoehorned in. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's what
it
made
didn't-
him famous.
Yeah, it didn't feel shoehorned in at
No.
all. It's not like, we have to tell this. It's like, shit, this organically works. Like, we're going to Kessel to go do this. Shit, we got to make the Kessel Run.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it in 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Like, it just made sense.
Yeah, I agree with you. The whole Kessel Run thing, or to put it around the Kessel Run, it makes sense because that's what made him famous. That's how he introduces himself. Why not tell that story? I don't think that's a shoe-in.
No.
If
I
they
can
were
see
gonna
how
shoe
people think things are shoe-ins if they're referenced in the original films and all of a sudden they're showcased in this.
Yeah.
But it's a fucking prequel. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
Of course they're going to reference some old stuff. It's just how they do it. And I think that the stuff they did in the first act wasn't the right way to do it. Like, hey, let's do a full shot on these dice and let's take a full-on close-up of the blaster he now has. Like, don't do it that way.
Yeah.
But, like,
agreed.
you know, we got to go to Kessel to go do this. Okay, cool. But if they're like, hey, we have to go do the Kessel Run, like,
zoom
that's
in.
not how you do it.
Yeah,
right?
and they didn't really focus on it too
No.
much, until he was bragging at the end. Like they weren't. You're right. They didn't frame it like when they were getting away. It's like, I'm going to do this in 12 parts. Like that kind of thing. It's like, look, it's not subtle. It's a prequel that's cashing in on an audience that's built in. They're going to do this stuff. But I think they did it in a really fun. I think this movie is the best it could have been. I just don't think it could have been. Like, realistically, I don't think this movie could have really been anything else.
If they added lights in the first act, that would have been nice.
You shut your
Fucking
mouth.
feeling around in the dark. Where is this? Oh, that's the dildo.
Oh,
Hi, dildo.
one prediction I had, and you have a recording of this somewhere, but because we did it as a sort of show roll thing, and we cut it out of one of the episodes, but I had said that I was excited about, Chewbacca fucking up some, and I also made a prediction that I thought that this was going to be the first Star Wars movie without any Jedi or a lightsaber in it. And literally right at the fucking end, of course, it happened, and I'm like, damn it, you were so close. Star Wars, Solo, story, whatever, story, Solo, Star Wars, War Star, whatever. You were so close, movie. You almost, like, completely, washed your hands of the Jedi. You don't need the Jedi to be successful. but they shat all over that.
It would have been better if Darth Maul, instead of lighting up his lightsaber, if his new lightsaber came straight out of his middle finger and was like, "Fuck you," and then he just
to me, yeah. But before we get into that, there was a couple of other things that I wanted to talk about.
What?
Terrace Kasai. So Kira like takes out a guard in a really funny way. She like jumps on him, he falls over, and her cape flies up, and like her feet, whatever. And she comes up, she's like, "Where did you learn that?" It's like, "Oh, it's it's Terrace Kasai." And all I can think about is the Angry Video Game Nerd episode where he reviews the video game, The Masters of Terrace Kasai for the PlayStation, and that's when we all found out that there is something called Jizz. In Star Wars, which is a form of music.
Yeah.
And a Jizz whaler is someone who specializes in that type of music. So when the Terrace Kasai reference came out, I totally loved it.
And they pronounced it differently than the Angry Video Game Nerd. They like Terrace Cassie or
Terrace
something.
Kasai,
so it took me a second. I was like, Terrace Cat. Yeah. And then I think you and I looked at each other.
Yeah,
you hit me.
Yeah, like a Terrace Kasai, Jizz whalers.
Yeah. Oh my god.
L3. Let's talk about L3 for a second. I think the Star Wars movies have been doing a good job introducing droid sidekicks in general. I think, although I'm not in love with BB-8, he's not, it's not awful. But the droid from Rogue One, I thought was pretty cool. I thought that was an interesting
Another
take.
Alan Tudyk performance.
Yeah, an Alan Tudyk performance, yes. And this droid was also great. The whole emancipation thing she was going on, I thought that was great. It was fresh. It was new. And you know what? They didn't have to break off into a side story to tell this emancipation story. They integrated that whole thing, and her motivation was all integrated into the story. Not like some other movies who have to talk about emancipation of alien horses, Last Jedi, who have to sort of like, they did this in a way that was more like organic, and she had a little story arc, and it paid off, and it was great. She was there, and she was gone, and I thought it was really well done. Also visually, she was like, I couldn't tell sometimes whether they had animatronic pieces or not. Like, looked very, very good, very convincing.
Mm-hmm. My issue with her was that it's an internal struggle with myself. So when they first introduce her, she's essentially like arguing about this enslavement of the droids that are fighting each other and stuff in the robot battle thing, right?
Did you see Ron Howard's brother?
Yeah.
He's the old guy. He's the old guy there.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his first name is. But
I forgot.
I think he's in like all of Ron Howard's movies.
Yeah, he always puts him in similar
kind
to
of
Sean
like-
Gunn and his brother.
Sean Gunn?
Sean Gunn, the director of Guardians Galaxy. His brother.
James Gunn.
Sorry, Sean Gunn's his brother. James
Oh.
Gunn's the director.
Yeah,
Apologies.
yeah.
So
Also,
anyways.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah,
puts,
he always
puts his brother in all of his movies. And actually, his brother's pretty funny, so I don't mind that at all.
So anyways, my issue was at first, when they introduced her character, I'm like, good fucking God, is this going to be her the whole movie? And I was getting really annoyed.
Really? Okay.
I was. But the problem is that I couldn't hold on to that grudge because the payoff of her, like, go and free your brothers, and then all the chaos is going, and she's like, I just freed everybody. I was just like,
That's
all
pretty.
right,
I thought it was
you're
pretty
kind
good.
of funny.
I thought that was
kinda
pretty good. I like the whole thing about when she has that conversation with Kira in the cockpit, talking about Lando and her. I like that. I don't know. I thought it was fresh. It was different. And I think that's what, for me, this whole movie was. It was very fresh for a Star Wars movie. Okay?
Is that a reference to Rotten Tomatoes? About it being fresh? Certified fresh?
I'm gonna fucking beat you to death with this fire poker.
Do you want a beer?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Hang on, wait. I'm not done yet. I'm not done.
I
gotta pee. Should we take a break or should I just?
Do we need a pee break?
I think so.
Child. All right, we're gonna do a pee break and refill, and then I don't know. We're 59 minutes in, man. Why don't we just
You want to wrap it up?
We can wrap it up soon.
Yeah,
I think
all right.
so. Let's wrap it up in 5 minutes.
I could hold it.
Hold your bladder.
Costuming.
Okay.
I liked it a lot.
Good talk.
I like the costumes. I like the way everyone looked. It comes back to some of the animatronics, but also the other marauding group. I can't remember what the lead
They look
girl's
good.
name, like her
Yeah,
mask,
I
everything
couldn't
looked
remember.
great.
Throwaway character name, but
Yeah.
powerful character. It was interesting the way that she kind of brought out, but you knew how bad Voss was, or Dryden Voss.
Voss. What'd you think of him?
He was fucking great, man.
I liked him.
I love me some Paul Bettany, and
He's
my,
great.
my
He is
favorite
great.
thing about this villain is that he was imposing, but he wasn't the primary focus. Like, they're not trying to get away from him, and he's not coming after them. It's like, oh shit, we have to pay up to this guy, otherwise he will come after us.
Yes.
The threat of him was looming,
Yeah.
and when he was on the screen, he was like a snake.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
slithering around,
yeah.
getting in close, like, I really like you, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to viciously murder you.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Bettany did a good job
he
with what the
played
material
that
he had. I think it's the kind of villain that he's kind of one note, but Bettany did the best he could with that material.
agreed. And the good thing about a one-note villain is let him be on the screen for one note. He had 2 scenes.
Yeah,
really,
yeah,
right?
exactly. He
There was
wasn't
a small introduction of him and his party, but essentially it was the 2 scenes of him in his office.
Right.
And that fight scene at the end, perfect.
Yeah, liked it.
I liked that it was close quarters. I
Yeah.
liked that it wasn't a whole bunch of blasters. There wasn't a lightsaber to be seen.
Oh, yeah,
And
exactly.
Kira doing what she did was somewhat... I mean,
You think that the whole thing was calculated? I didn't quite understand like Kira's
No,
motivation.
no,
and that's
I
kind
don't
of
think
like
it
one
was
of the things I
completely
didn't
calculated.
I didn't like about the movie is that the motivations are a little muddy. Like her motivation, she's in terms of things I didn't like. I didn't really like her character is just kind of there. I feel like the Star Wars movies, if anything, these days have done a really good job of fleshing out their female characters. And this movie it's not bad what they do, but she's just kind of there. It's not up to par with what they've been doing in the other movies. She's a function of the plot, a function for Han, and I didn't really buy into her ambition, where she ends up taking control of the Red Dawn.
yeah, I think it's Red Dawn.
No, not Red Dawn. It's something. Crimson
Dynamo.
Dynamo.
That's
Dynamo.
Dynamo. That's an Iron Man character. Yeah, Crimson Dawn. It's Crimson Dawn. You're right.
Yeah, Crimson Dawn.
Red Dawn. It's a fucking color.
Yeah.
So, I think that she was very much struggling with who she has been her whole career or life.
Yeah.
With her feelings, her old original feelings for Han, and then at the very end, it just kind of came to her there. I don't think it was a calculated move. Like, this is her double cross. Like Beckett for sure,
because she let them go.
Yeah.
So she wasn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
And
you're right.
she didn't throw under the bus. She threw Beckett under the bus.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But there was no mention of Han. So she's still deep down a good person.
But she wants the power.
But she wants the power. She's
But
like
that's
she's
the part,
too far gone.
Yeah, but that's the part where I don't think they quite delivered on that nuance, and I think that's what makes her character for me a little flat. Like flat as in like she just has to do these things and then she's done.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that nuance.
That's because you don't want to show her. I mean,
you don't want to tip your hand too early.
You don't want to tip your hand, and honestly, it's not her movie. Like, you don't need to see her struggling.
That's
Han's
true.
struggling enough as it. Not even struggling. Like, he's going forward, and with his ideals and his outlook on things, and things just keep getting in the fucking way.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's like you got Beckett, like, don't trust anyone, and he's kind of a little happy-go-lucky, kind of wants to trust everybody to some degree.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's getting betrayed, and things aren't working out for him. He loses his ship, technically, that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
Like the gambling
Which
thing.
also was a great moment.
That was a good moment. I love anytime I see like a holdout. That's the device that they use up the sleeve.
Oh yeah,
That's what it's called, as a holdout. Anytime I see a holdout in a movie, I'm like, And that's also what made me think of The Sting when I was watching this. But anyways, like, her character motivations were very ambiguous the whole film, and then it kind of came essentially the payoff was she is pretty bad deep down, but there's a glimmer of hope in her.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't think we ever see her character again.
You mean in any other like media?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'm interested to see what they do there.
They're gonna do something with Red Dawn and fucking
Crimson Dawn?
Maul. Or sorry, whatever. I
Yeah.
don't
So
give a
anyway,
shit.
this cameo.
Yeah.
Actually, one last thing. Two small points I wanted to make before we jump into the cameo. Speaking Wookiee, didn't like that.
No, I like.
I didn't like him speaking Wookiee and then starting to talk English. I felt like the whole mystery of them understanding each other should just be a mystery.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thankful that they didn't do that for very long. It was just that
he was
initial
doing that
shock
the whole movie,
factor.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah, it's just that
But
initial shock. If you find out, yeah.
How are you gonna try and convince a 3,000-pound? He's probably not 3,000 pounds. 3,000-pound monster
Yeah.
to stop fucking hitting you to
Yeah,
death.
yeah.
Right?
So he had to do
you
something.
got to do something that shocks him. And he's like, "Holy shit! Wait,
Yeah,
what?"
yeah, yeah.
Like,
that's right.
that would shock me. Like, if all of a sudden I'm in a fight with, like, a Japanese guy, and all of a sudden I'm, like, speaking Japanese to him, he'd be like, who is this giant white man that is speaking Japanese to me all of a sudden? Like,
Yeah.
it'd be strange. Like, you
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
and then think, like, wait a minute, this guy's got an idea.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
I disagree
Tentacle
with your
monster.
stupid point.
Tentacle monster in space.
Cthulhu!
Yeah,
That was my first thought.
I kind of enjoyed that. That was fun. That moment there.
I figured they'd give you a Cthulhu boner. You're a big fucking...
yeah, a Lovecraft fan.
Lovecraftian.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that moment in space. The train sequence is absolutely the highlight of this movie. I really enjoyed that.
I agree. Although, who's still building trains in this fucking...
Yeah, I don't know.
this
But
day
they're
and
cool
age?
trains. They're cool trains.
It was a good train. Top 10.
That was some good train.
It was a good train. Running trains.
We haven't really talked about his mentor character. What's his name? Tobias. Tobias Beckett.
I don't know.
So Tobias.
Is that his actual first name?
Yeah, I think so in the movie.
It's Franklin.
Franklin.
Becker Beckett. His first name's Becker.
That's too much. That's too much. Like the convenience store. Becker's Beckett.
Can we just call him Beckett and move on?
Okay, yeah.
Thank
So
you.
anyway, he's just kind of there too. I think Woody Harrelson does the best he can with the role, and it's fine. But I think the fact that we haven't talked about it is kind of a statement saying that he's just there. He's a function of the plot. Although his double cross makes fucking zero sense to me. That was one of those things where I'm like, why? You could have just like walked away from everything and like gone your own way. Like,
or he could
Buddy
be
thinks
in
you're
good
dead.
with a guy that's a good gravy train for him.
yeah, but he thinks you're dead. The whole thing was about getting out now because he was in debt. Right, so I thought that like when you had a way out, he was going to tell him you're dead, and you can go off and learn to play the mandolin or whatever the fuck it is, the instrument that you wanted to play. He might not you, but like Woody Harrelson.
Yeah. No, I disagree with you 100%.
I would have ran. I would have ran like a little bitch.
Why would you run like a little bitch when you can double cross people and get 3 cuts of your share, 4 cuts of your share in one
Because you know
go?
what? People who do that
And then
end
pay
up
off all your
fucking
debts.
dead.
Huh?
People
Why-
who do that end up dead, and guess what? That's what happened to him.
But him and Scarface were really good friends. Or
They're not good friends.
Well,
He was gonna kill him.
they had a good working relationship as
No,
long as
they
he
didn't.
delivered. As
Yeah.
long as he delivered, and he would have delivered if his double cross worked, and he would have gotten all that entire share.
100% disagree with you.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I would have
the
walked
whole
away
time
from
he's
that.
looking for that. Yeah, you would have walked away because
Yeah, he
you're a big
would've-
puss looking
Yeah.
to get past all your debts. This man wanted to pay off his debts like a gentleman. Granted, he sacrificed everything.
Everybody else in the process.
but he's still settling the debts that matter.
Anyway, so he's shown his character confuses me because he's shown as having a little bit of pathos, being with Thandie Newton's character, like that, who just just like his crew just kind of gets sacrificed, X-Force kind of style on that first train thing, and there's very little sort of emotional impact there, but they make you think that he has an emotional connection, and then this double cross happens at the end, and I'm like, he didn't really mourn for her very much. It was all kind of like really fast and quick, fast and loose. Yeah. It's like, come on, we got to get this movie going. We can't spend too much time on this. So, again, like, it is a knock, and it's something I didn't really like, but didn't ruin the movie by any stretch. There was enough good things in this movie that didn't really register.
I mean, it's just another example of Woody Harrelson putting in a good performance. He fits in the plot very well, and he's Woody fucking Harrelson, man.
Right.
He's the shit.
Right, and the last thing, the cameo.
Yeah.
So Kira, kills Boss Man and confers with the leader of the Crimson Dawn. I really hope we're getting that right, by the way.
It's close.
It's it would be really stupid if it wasn't. And the voice came on in the movie. I'm like, holy shit! There's no way. I actually recognized like that voice. I was like, who could that be? There's only one person. And then it shows him, and it is in fact it's a holographic image of the leader, who is Darth Maul. Crimson Dawn makes a lot of sense. The fact that he's red. Also, I was thinking about it later, and Paul Bettany's gangster character has a lot of similarities to Maul, in that he's got these scars on his face and his eyes turn red like later.
Yeah,
like, they kind
true.
of started filling in. So
I
it does
figured
have
he just
some,
smoked a whole lot of dope.
Yeah, he's
high as fuck.
smoked a ton of weed. Yeah, so they have this scene. So how did you feel about this?
I
Mechanical
was just,
legs and all, like the chicken legs and all.
Yeah, mechanical legs and all. I was just kind of like, why? Okay, fine.
So he's in the Clone Wars TV series,
Yeah, he's
which
a
I never saw.
Pretty prominent character in the last season or two.
But
I
he
think
gets-
last 2 seasons.
And Buddy, I remember seeing the episode where Obi-Wan kills him.
That's in Rebels. That's the series after
Oh.
Clone Wars. Essentially,
Is
like,
it?
I think
I
so.
must have
I
gotten
haven't
that
seen
confused.
it. So I ended up, this was ages ago, but at Comic-Con they were selling a 3-pack of toys at the Hasbro booth, and it was older Obi-Wan. No, actually it was just 2. It was 2-pack. It was Darth Maul with his robot-y chicken legs, and
I thought it was just going to be half of Darth Maul.
No.
He's half price.
half
Half price Darth Maul. Sorry, you only get the top half. Anyways.
Imagine you got the bottom half, you'd be
Yeah, that'd be the
more
worst.
upset. Like, what am I going to do with these?
His legs.
And Owen Kenobi.
Owen Lars?
No, sorry,
Oh,
not
whatever.
Kenobi. Owen
Action-
Skywalker.
Yeah,
Owen
yeah,
Skywalker.
yeah.
Right? Essentially, the story was that Maul comes down to Tatooine, and it's actually Owen that ends up killing him because he shoots him in the back or something like that. Or so I read.
I
in the
thought it
back.
was a lightsaber fight.
I think that's some
around a
extended
campfire.
universe shit, but it was a lightsaber battle that apparently ended with Owen shooting him in the back or something.
Oh,
but
okay. I might have gotten that all wrong. Anyway, I think he dies.
He dies, yeah. In the
Yeah.
recent stories, I think in Rebels, he actually gets killed by Obi-Wan instead.
Yeah.
But in any case, yeah, it's just a setup to that. I think that's all that is. That's the only reason I see them bringing him in, unless they just want to have that shock value.
Yeah,
Or
I
if
think-
there really is a written rule saying we need a Jedi. Or somebody
Dude,
with a lightsaber.
they were doing so well. And not only that, I'm like, okay, broke the Jedi rule, which maybe like nobody mentioned Jedi or anything, and I thought there was a good chance that we would not have any of that mentioned at all. And then he comes in, I'm like, okay, there's a Jedi in the movie. No big deal, there won't be a lightsaber. And for no good goddamn reason, over the video chat, he sparks his lightsaber. I'm like, no, god damn it, you were so close, movie. But he does it for no reason.
That's like somebody
doesn't-
like that has a gun in a holster, taking the gun out and being like, "I have a gun," and then to up the ante, opens it with bullets.
Yeah,
Like,
and this is like the holographic
you don't
video.
need to do that.
The video
I know you're a
chat.
Jedi.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like.
Yeah, I'm like, that was just unnecessary. And
Yeah, I
these
know.
Star Wars movies seem all of the new ones seem to have, or at least the Star Wars story offshoot movies have to have like a quota for having some CG cameo, like Zombie Tarkin from Rogue One, and where they brought him back totally CG, and then like Maz from like The Last Jedi, who's totally CG and in a holographic image. Now, the whole movie is very sort of gritty and like it's got a lot of texture and it's got this real lived-in feel, and then you get Darth Maul, who is totally CG, by the way. He's not a real actor. I don't think it's.
I think it's Ray Park.
I don't think it's Ray Park in costume at all. It didn't look like it anyway. I think it was just a CG recreation of Ray Park, and it gave that I got that old Star Warsy feeling back again. Where,
I think you're wrong, and only because
I don't think it was. He may have motion captured it, but it's a CG creation.
I don't know about that. The only reason I'm saying that is because like he didn't look like Darth Maul from the first movie. If you were CG, you'd think he'd look very similar. He'd gained weight. He had a bit of a jowl. Like he was bigger than he was in like the
They're actually gonna
whatever the fuck Phantom Menace.
They were actually gonna change his name to Jowl Maul.
No, man, you've had better jokes. I'm not giving you that. You don't even get a
Jowl
chuckle.
Maul.
Stop
Jowl
it.
Maul.
Stop it. So overall, like I look at it as a ploy to set up another movie, whether it's I mean, there's
showed the
been
chick-
talk about Obi-Wan movie for like forever.
And maybe that's gonna be a part of it.
Might be.
I was neither here nor there. I saw it. I'm like, oh, shock factor. It's there. Does it ruin the movie? Not in the slightest.
No, not at all.
But it's kind of there. It does it just kind of cheapen things a little bit. It seems cheap.
Maybe.
Seems a
see
little
that.
cheap. But in the end, not a sin that I really took to heart. So,
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that's pretty much the one last point I wanted to mention.
Please.
Ron Howard directed Willow, and we just mentioned that Warwick Davis was in this film. He even has a line. He has a speaking line. But they also do this thing with at the beginning when they're chasing Han through the airport. They have these dogs that are chasing them, and again, this is another Willow flashback, because in Willow they have these giant rats, like boar things, that are chasing like the evil guys that are chasing the baby. And what they did was they dressed up real dogs with these costumes around the dogs, and and when the dogs ran, it looked real. It looked like this wolf rat thing that was chasing you. They did exactly the same thing in this movie. The dogs are dressed up. These dogs, these animals they're taking along are actually dogs in costume.
Huh.
So, and that's why they look real, and any other movie you would have watched, they would have done that in CG, right? But Ron Howard, or the other two directors, maybe, I don't know how much of this movie is theirs and how much is his, but this seems like something he would do because he's done it before, right? So I really like that callback. Like, this movie is a real, like lived-in animatronic real feel. They dressed up dogs, for God's sakes. Very cool. I very much like that. So so that was the last thing I had.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been whatever episode this is.
Whatever.
I've
It's
lost
20
count.
maybe? 20? Yeah.
20, 21?
Yeah.
No, I think it's 20. I think
Yeah.
the last one was 19. So that would make this 20, if my arithmetic is as top-notch as I like to think it is. Thank you very much for listening. This has been Justin.
This has been Atul.
I might change my name tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah,
You never
that's
know
right.
what'll come tomorrow.
That's right.
No, thanks for listening, guys. This has been Solo, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day as you have completed listening to... Guys, take
Just
care.
end it.
Thanks.
Peace.
See ya.
Oh, my God.